Welcome back, guys, to the Whiskey Explorer. I've got my brother here again for an awesome review. Here's Jason on the Whiskey Explorer, and I'm Jeff. And if you guys haven't had a chance to do so already and you're liking what we're putting out on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, mash that notification so you know when we're posting new videos, and please feel free to comment down below and we can continue to build this awesome whiskey community and whiskey tubers of the world unite, you know? So, what have we got tonight? Well, on the cask tonight, guys, we have got Weller Special Reserve. So, love this stuff. A very, very gentle, inviting, seductive little bourbon right here. Seductive. So, what do we got here? We got Weller, we got their entry-level product. Sadly, this is all that we can get. So here in Victoria, BC, you cannot find a Weller 12. You will not find a Weller 107 Antique. You will not find any of the BTAC collection. This is the only offering that I was able to find. Now, other whiskey tubers out there, such as my buddies Trenny and C, they were lucky enough a little while back, probably in the summer of 2018, to pick up like 10 bottles of Weller 12 that were just randomly at a liquor store in Sydney, of all places, which is where Jason and I grew up. So it's just about, you know, half an hour outside of Victoria, small, sleepy little seaside town, and they just walked in one day and cleared them out of Weller 12. So I'm going to have to get together with those guys somehow, exchange a bottle so I can get a bottle of the Weller 12. So from what I understand, the Weller 12 and the Weller Antique, they are both better than just the entry-level product here, but for now we'll settle with the Weller Special Reserve. What to tell you guys about this one? Well, it's the wheated mash bill of Buffalo Trace. And so it's not a rye-forward bourbon. It does obviously have corn in the mash bill, but instead of using rye in the mash bill with the corn, they are substituting for wheat. And it's really interesting because this is the same mash bill of the famous Pappy, right? Oh. So if you're looking at the Pappy 12, the Pappy 23, or the Rip Van Winkle 10, we're talking about the same mash bill being used. And the difference would be the aging technique, the type of wood being used perhaps, where the barrels are located in the rick house for aging, who's selecting the barrels, etc., etc. But essentially it's the same mash bill. So that is why Weller has gained a very good reputation in the bourbon world as poor man's Pappy.
The poor man's Pappy.
The poor man's Pappy.
Yeah.
So that's what we're about to unveil. Now, the true poor man's Pappy is actually a combination of some of the different Wellers. I believe it's a combination of the Weller 12 and a little bit of the Weller Antique 107, but I could be wrong there. I'm not exactly sure because I can't get either of those products here, so I don't have the chance to make a true poor man's Pappy. I'm settling for the Special Reserve. This one here is bottled at 45% alcohol by volume, so that's nice to see that we got a little bit of a higher proof for our bourbon, which I always like to see. I don't generally like to drink any bourbons that are at the 40% range. The lowest I'll go is maybe 43, but even then I like it at least 45. And Jason is a cask strength bourbon guy.
Yes. Stronger the better.
Stronger the better. So he's the guy who I love Bookers. Like, I'll water Bookers down a little bit, you know, just so I can get it right to my sweet spot. Jason loves that stuff, just cask strength, you know, 63, 64%.
They made it the way it was supposed to be, right? So just got to keep it, and that's my belief on it. So.
Yeah. Even though the distiller, Booker No, head of Jim Beam Distilling, has said that, you know, he intended when he made Bookers for it to be watered down or for a rock to be added, but hey man, whiskey is always, the best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink, the way you like to drink it. So I'm not going to knock anyone for the way they drink their whiskey. So, without further ado, we should do a little nosing here for you guys, do a tasting, and then tell you if we'd spend the money on this bottle. And speaking about money, this bottle here was about 45 bucks at the BC liquor store. The BC liquor store is actually the only place I was able to find it, so I was really happy to see that they were starting to stock Weller. Because as I understand from my friends that are whiskey tubers out in the States, this is actually scarce in the States. It's hard for people in certain states to find the Weller, even the Weller Special Reserve, which is their entry-level product, because people are snapping it up as the poor man's Pappy. So it's gained popularity, it continues to gain popularity. with that, it becomes more rare and more scarce, and the price point generally goes up. And the other thing that's interesting they do in the States is they decide how much a certain state, how many bottles a certain state is going to get of that product. So it's actually regulated quite a bit more than it is here, or seemingly it is. So I'll give you guys a quick look at the bottle. Unfortunately on this guy here, we do not have a cork opening. We've just got the twist cap, the metal cap there. But that can be the poor man's cap, as we like to call it. But that's fine. So it's a nice color already, I can tell you guys that. Dark, rich caramel color. So we'll pour some in the glass so you guys can get a better look at that. So I'll pour Jason a nice healthy dram. He came out to do a review tonight, so got to take care of him there. Nice full Whiskey Explorer pour for him. Yeah. And you know what? I quite like this one. It is quite nice, and it's honestly the type of bottle that you bring to a party and you can sip on all night. Like, it's a very drinkable whiskey. You can get through a bottle or half a bottle of this, no problem.
No
half
problem.
a bottle with a friend.
No problem.
You know, I mean, a full bottle with a friend, half a bottle on your own kind of deal. So color, guys, color-wise, we're looking at kind of a nice medium copper to that one there, kind of a medium to light copper. And yeah, it's a nice color. It looks good. And that's what I love that about bourbon. And it's interesting in the Scotch world because you have to watch out for the producers and bottlers that are adding E150 to their product to, you know, enhance the caramel color.
Yeah.
But for bourbon, bourbon is almost always never chill filtered and not colored. So what we're seeing is actually representative of the color caused from the natural aging process in the barrels.
And this is still even pretty light to a lot of other bourbons as well.
For sure. Like even like the Woodford Reserve that I reviewed a little bit back on the channel, the Woodford Reserve is darker even than this. So this is almost kind of in the same wheelhouse, even a bit lighter maybe than Bullet Bourbon. So
yeah,
I'm gonna just give it the old glass coating technique there, just spin it around so I can coat the glass and see if I can get a good nose on this guy here and tell you guys what I find. Sweet.
Very sweet.
Very sweet. I get lots of caramel and toffee flavors. Vanilla coming through. Not much of the typical bourbon baking spices, so kind of that...
I get a little bit of coffee almost.
Coffee?
A little bit.
I could see that. Almost like did you get any chocolate at all?
Yeah, maybe like a dark chocolate kind of, yeah, coffee.
Like a mocha.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So we don't get a lot of spice because again, you're not dealing with rye in the mash bill. You've got wheat as the substitution, so you're not getting the same type of profile that you would on a high wheat. on a high rye bourbon, like for example the Henry McKenna that I reviewed earlier on the channel, and that had just a ton of spice, like just tons of cinnamon, tons of nutmeg, allspice, like all those classic Christmas baking spices. They were in there for days. This one not getting that. Primarily it's the vanillas, the toffees.
Yeah, a little bit of sweet in there as well, yeah.
Caramel, as Jason said, really interesting kind of note of like almost like a mocha, like chocolate, dark chocolate.
I get that a lot.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Butterscotch even.
Butterscotch, right? Yeah, that's better. That's
I think what it is butterscotch. Like almost, it's like a different smell than toffee.
Yeah.
Like a different than, you know, even the stuff we were picking out in the scotch we drank earlier, right?
I like that. I think the butterscotch has it right on there.
Alright guys, let's go in for a sip. Cheers. Smooth.
Very smooth.
Super easy to drink.
Yeah, you can definitely drink that. That's an everyday drinker for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that is, Jason's hit it on the nail on the head there. I think this is in the category of a daily sipper. This is not your go out and spend $100 on a bottle of Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch or single barrel. You know, it's not that bottle. It's the bottle that's 42, 43, maybe $45 depending on where you can buy it in Canada. You take it to your buddy's place for dinner, and you drink it over dinner, and you continue drinking it into the night. It's that kind of very, very crushable whiskey.
Every day after work.
Every day after work. There you go. So in that respect, it is so inviting and so smooth that and the flavor leaves you quite quickly. Like there's not too much of a finish. But I'm going to go in there again and give you guys the notes on it for the palate.
I get the butterscotch. I think you were dead on with that.
I still really like it. I mean, sure, it doesn't have the same level of complexity of some other bourbons, but it's super tasty. Like, you do get, what I get a lot of is that butterscotch, caramel notes, the sweetness. I get this really nice vanilla and then almost a finish of nutmeg. Like, not like cinnamon or something spicy, it's like more subtle than that, more inviting. It's just sort of a taste of something herbal or like spice, baking spice, but not the strong cinnamon. Like it doesn't hit you in the face. It's like a subtle, nice kind of flavor and spice.
I get a lot of almost like an oil kind of taste to it, like
oily.
Oily, and like I keep on going back to the butterscotch just because it almost seems very buttery, but with that caramel, like.
I think buttery is an excellent descriptor for this whiskey. Guys, this one's smooth like butter. It is delicious. For like $45, I think this
can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with it. I mean, it's got a place on my bar for sure. The only thing I'll say is that the finish is just almost gone right away. I mean,
yes, it doesn't stay for very long, and it's not anything. It doesn't excite you too much, but it's very easy. And like you were saying, it's just a very everyday. You know you're not going to be surprised by it. You're always going to be happy with it, and it's just going to keep it going.
And I think that, like, if you're introducing someone to bourbon and they're not a bourbon drinker, they're not really into whiskey, I think you start with this, and you might have a conversion there.
Yeah.
You could get them into bourbon and get them sipping it and enjoying it and finding some nice flavors in there. So I think for those that are sort of starting their bourbon journey or starting their whiskey journey, tap into the Weller Special Reserve. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I'm certainly not for $45.
No.
And like Jason said, I mean, it's a bottle you keep around, everyday sipper, have a dram after work or after a tough day of whatever, and just get into it and just really it's, you know what, it is also a very nice background type of bourbon where you don't have to think too much about the flavors that are going on because it's not overly complex.
No, but it's getting better and better. Like every sip, it's getting even more smooth and even just a very relaxing taste for what it is. Like
absolutely. Oh man, it's nice. I do even get a little hint of like maple in there, like the maple syrup note. Just because it's kind of in that flavor family that I'm kind of picking up, like the butterscotches, the caramels, and then with a little bit of spice, a little bit of something in there.
There's a little something in there for sure.
It's hard to put your finger on what it is. Like I know what it is, but I just don't know how to describe it. It's almost like brown sugar and cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yeah, definitely some cinnamon.
So I think this is a really tasty one, and I think you guys, if you can find it in your area, go out and buy it. And you know what? Buy it soon because people are snapping up the Weller Reserve, even though that's their entry-level product, and they are just buying it and then selling out. And I just think it's going to be harder and harder to find as we go down the road because people are picking it up because they can't afford the Pappy. I mean, bottle of Pappy on the secondary market, $500, $600, $800, $1,000, like depending on the age statement and the market and the auction. So that's not realistic for me right now. So I mean, hey, if you guys got it, but if I get a chance, and if you guys want to send me a bottle of Pappy, the Whiskey Explorer will take that and take it, honor it, cherish it, and drink it. That's what we'll do. So if we ever get a Pappy, we'll definitely have that on the show. All right, guys. I think that's all we've got on this one. So until next time, make sure you guys check out our other videos. Click the subscribe button. Make sure to hit the bell, and then you'll get your notifications for when we're posting new videos. We're going to be doing something super exciting coming up, and very soon we'll be doing some live streaming for you guys. So that should be a new and exciting feature to the Whiskey Explorer channel. And we're looking forward to having you guys all take part in that and join the community, and contribute to this awesome world of whiskey tubers that we've got out there. So till next time, guys, Salancha, cheers, stay safe, enjoy your bourbons.